Yeah, I know, I'm late. Sorry about that. Well, as you can probably tell, I'm filming on my camera today. I've been conspicuous by my absence. Apologies for that. It's been a very tough year. Where to start? Well, we had the terminal illness, an eventual passing of a close relative, which really affected my abilities to get out, my time, and I think basically I run myself into the ground. So I didn't have the greatest of health for a while. And it's just been a bad year for me health-wise and family-wise and things going on. Sorry, I know I'm supposed to keep this steady. It's not very easy. So why am I suddenly filming again? Well, one, it was always my intention. Two, I've got some, from my perspective, very exciting news. And three, I wanted to talk about a most recent trend. So we'll start with that. The new trend, one of these trending videos. This I forget what the hashtag is, but basically it's planting 20 million trees before 2020, which is a tough ask. And for every dollar donated, this organisation plant a tree, and I think it's very, very commendable. But they're not the only ones. In the UK, if you're one of my UK viewers, and that rare thing, a subscriber, you may or may not be aware of the Woodland Trust. Now, the Woodland Trust, you can set up a direct debit for as little as £4 a month, and they will plant trees on your behalf. Now, why is this a big deal? Well, for all the things that we're being told to conserve energy, for all the things we're being told, that drive electric cars, use less fossil fuel, eat less meat, all these many, many different things that they say can save the planet. One thing that most definitely will will contribute positively to climate change is planting trees, because trees breathe carbon dioxide. They breathe it in and they pump out oxygen. Now, I don't know if the science is quite as simple as that. Excuse me a moment while I change hands. Yeah, I don't know if the science is quite as simple as that. But I'll put a link to the Woodland Trust in the description. I think it's definitely a very, very valuable way of going about contributing to improving climate change, because climate change isn't just something for big governments to deal with. It's not just about the big issues. Each one of us can positively impact the climate and the way it's disastrously changing our planet, and the way we can make simple contributions in our lives to change it. One of those things is planting trees. Now, besides the Woodland Trust, there's something else, and I recently got a package here, and they're called tree bombs. I'll put the details in the description. Let me get one. Yeah, I think it was 100 for $9.99. So in this little package is a whole bunch of seeds and all the nutrients they need to grow. And you can, unlike planting an actual tree where you've got to dig a hole, put it in, top it up with soil, then water it and make sure it's make sure it's well nurtured to start with. With these, you can literally just push them into drop on the floor and push them in with your shoe. So if you know there's a bit of waste ground that's unused near you, not your neighbour's garden, not the village green, not the bowling green, but actual waste ground that is just there being unused, it's not being developed, why not just do that? Just drop a few, put your foot in them. I mean, there are people who do something called guerrilla planting, and there are people who go to great extremes. I don't think you need to do that. I think this is quite a simple and sensible thing you can do. It doesn't cost you a lot of money. It doesn't take a great deal of effort, and you just sort of find a good spot and say, okay, I'll put 10 here. I'll sort of put them 10 yards apart, and in time trees will grow from them. Now the thing about that is that when a tree grows, an entire ecosystem grows around it. Certain plants start to grow, and then certain animals become attracted to that. And you'll notice that if you get quite often, for instance, near me, there's something called Robertson's jam. The ones with the very politically incorrect gollywogs. Now, that factory was knocked down, I don't know, maybe 10, maybe 15 years ago. And on the ground, sorry, I know it's shaky, it's just really difficult to hold this for a while. On the ground where that was, there are loads and loads of trees now growing. There's all sorts. It's developed its own ecosystem because it's unused. Now, there's great talk about whether a housing estate's going to be built there, whether there's going to be hope, maybe they hope to get some business in. I'd actually like it to just become, another little woodland. I think that would be best for everybody. So when you've got waste ground, it could be the same thing. It could be a disused factory that nobody's doing anything with. Even if the trees end up being pulled up in 10 years' time, if they've been there for some part of that 10 years, contributing to the climate, they've been a net benefit. They're a positive impact on pollution. Do I need to really sell trees to people who watch this kind of channel? Probably not. Right, so now to my news. So one of the things that's demotivated me from coming out and actually making videos, on top of my other issues and on top of the chaos I've got at home, I need so much decorating doing at home, and my office is a mess, and it's really difficult to edit video, which is why my camera's been in a bag for 2 months, and it's ended up, there's video on there from Bushcraft. I didn't actually film any of the action. It's just me talking like this, and I've just not been able to edit it. I've just felt no motivation to edit it. So the big problem for me has been going out, doing some bushcraft and filming it, and being in a situation where I can both actually do some bushcraft and be able to film it. So for instance, at the Bushmoot, a lot of what I was doing there, that there were people close by, and I'm still not quite comfortable with the idea of filming and talking to a camera while I know that there are people can hear me. I have one of these silly phobias where I can't talk on the phone to people when other people are listening. It's silly, doesn't make any sense, I know, but bit by bit, hopefully I'll get over some of it in doing this. So I have been given the opportunity, which I've wholeheartedly accepted, to join a syndicate. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means I've paid a sum of money, and from January of next year through to December, I will have my own little spot of woodland that I can develop my bushcraft on, build a bushcraft camp, film to my heart's content, and I couldn't be happy. It's exactly what I've been looking for. It's the thing. I missed out on this last year, and in hindsight, the year I've had, I probably wouldn't have been able to take advantage of it so much the year I've had this year with family and whatnot. But next year, beginning of 2020, I am going to be able to actually go out, do some bushcraft, and what's really important, show you how, with physical elements, that I'm able to get around certain things that make bushcraft more difficult. So there are a lot of things that, for instance, gathering firewood, building a fire, building shelter and whatnot, it just takes me a bit longer. I have to have rests in between. But I can show you that, and I can show you that it doesn't make it impossible. So I'm really looking forward to being able to actually film my own bushcraft, to be able to develop my skills, which this year I've had In April, I went to Go Wild Survival for a weekend. I filmed that. It was awful. Not the bushcraft. Just little bits of the filming, bits where the camera kept cutting out because I didn't realise how low the battery was. Bits where I'd done something like this at the end, done a closing thing about it, and I got home and I don't know, the camera just my phone wasn't recording. So I stood there talking to my phone and it hadn't recorded. And what was worse was I'd had about 4 interruptions of people coming in and out. So I finally actually got it right to camera and there was nothing there. So whether I'll, maybe I'll sort of find a way to incorporate that into a video between now and Christmas. I've got to go for to do an first aid certificate. So I've got to go on a first aid course, and I might do a little bit of filming there because although it's not actually bushcraft, it is really an important thing because you're out in the wild on your own in the woods. First aid, well, it's really important. You cut yourself, you've got to know what to do about it, and you could be in a situation where you've developed first aid skills that can help somebody else. So I might film a little bit of that. I've got an induction at the Woodland in December, so I'll film a little bit there. But I've got a thing about I don't want to film other people without their permission. It's an invasion of privacy in my view. You just turn up and start filming. It's just not fair, is it? So that's very, very likely what will happen. So yeah, I'm sorry it's taken so long to get any kind of video. Autumn leaves. Sorry it's taken so long to get some kind of video out. It's inexcusable really, but I've broke my own mantra, haven't I, about that you can get out, and I've just not. And there's another issue there, and that's a mental health issue. It becomes a block once you stop doing something. I don't know if you've had this, where if you used to go to the gym, then you have a couple of weeks off and you just can't face going to the gym again, or you're off work sick for a couple of weeks and you're absolutely dreading going back in work. It's all the same thing. So for me, it became, the longer I didn't do it, the harder it became to do. And then I'm off work this week, and I've sat there watching bushcraft videos, and it's just been really frustrating not getting out. Now I've got a little secret for you. Shh, come here, come close. Shh. I don't know if you've been watching Mike from TA Outdoors with his Saxon house and his Viking house and his other Viking house that he's building now. But I've heard it on the grapevine. Next year, Mike and his, that mate of his, that posh Justin, I think he's nobility or something, I'm not sure, but country squire or something. They're building a Motte and Bailey castle. So, go over to Mike, drop a hint, and say, can we come and help you build your Motte and Bailey castle? Because he's probably one of the wealthiest YouTubers out there, Mike. He doesn't like people to know it, but he's absolutely loaded. That land that he has his bushcraft camp on, that's like half a county he owns. So yeah, go along, say, Mike, when are you building your Motte and Bailey castle, and how big will the moat be? And yeah, just go and get into him over that. Anyway, that's enough from me. Finally got back to filming. A little bit of silliness at the end. So, see you again soon. Bye bye.